If you're looking for the best comedy on video, then look no further. Don't miss your chance to see the real Mike Reid.
Two fellas walking along the bank of a canal. On the side of this canal, there's a big crocodile laying there with its mouth open like that. And out of this crocodile's mouth was a big black head sticking. Oh, yes, oh, yes. One fella said to the other one, look at that flash bastard. I only got a Lacoste sleeping bag. Fella walked into a fish and chip shop. He said, was this fish cooked, mate? He said, yeah, why? He said, it's eaten all the fucking chips. And this Bill Clinton's on about woofers in the army. We had a bunch of the gays in our bloody army, bunches of them. Sergeant said to one day, he said, do you think you could kill a man? Oh, he said, eventually, yes. And one was telling his mate about his first jump out the plane. He said, I was standing there, he said, and the door opened and the green light went out, went, go, 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 and I thought, oh, no. Oh, sod, that's a bloody long way down. No, thank you. All of a sudden, this voice behind me went, get up the plane, man. So I looked around, this massive black fella standing. I went, no, sod you, I'm not going, no. It's bloody long, no, sod you, no. But this black fella undone his flies and his thing fell out. He said, if you don't jump, man, I'm going to shove this right up your tuchus. His friend said, did you jump? Oh, he said, a little bit, he said.
Mike Reid, live and uncensored, volumes 1 and 2. Rude, crude, and very, very funny. They're 18 certificate and strictly adults only. And George Best and Rodney Marsh are back to take centre stage in their hilarious roadshow.
You've spoken about Tommy Docherty. Good manager, George, what are your thoughts?
Crap. But the real reason I didn't get on with him, because he didn't fuck off with my wife.
Not many people know this, and I haven't talked about it over the years, and I haven't done a biography like Jules, so people don't know this. But Alf Ramsey picked the team against West Germany at Wembley. He was doing his team talk, and he said, this will be the free kicks, this will be the corner kicks. He went, penalties. He said, who fancies penalties tonight? Rodney, how about you? I said, I'd love to help, I'm not fucking playing.
If given the opportunity to become managers of a club, would you want to do that or not? And if so, for either reason, why?
Good question.
You go first.
I'll go first. Yeah, I would. I'd love the chance, yeah. Stringfellows.
Best and Marsh, on stage and uncut. Great comedy that scores every time.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the most beautiful comedian of all? You are, Frank. What about that bastard out there saying you had a big belly on you, eh? Shithead. You never put a baywin on a shithouse.
5 minutes, Mr. Carson.
Okay, I'll just go and have a crap. How's like a wind like that in your face going up the M6?
Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen him on television, you've heard him on the radio. It's the way he tells them. Will you please give a very warm welcome to Mr. Frank Carson?
Thank you, well done. Thank you, thank you. You turn off that fucking spotlight. You're gonna fade this bloody suit. Who wants their passport stamp for the Isle of Man? Before I start, can I just say I'm appalled at the violence in this area. I was stopping here last night, and the house next door to me was broken into by fucking thugs. And they rammed a vacuum cleaner up a man's ass. And I rang up the hospital this morning to see how he was doing, and the nurse said he was picking up. He also had a pot of stew on the stove, and the bastard shit it. He told me he had to throw the half of it out. Now, since many of you have been in more than half an hour, you will have missed the national news on ITN. The Argentinians have declared war on Ireland. They've taken the key off the top of the corned beef tins. And Mr. Mugabe from Zimbabwe has gone into hospital with piles and had to roll him in flour to find out where his ass was. And I cleaned that one up. And you can have an Irish abortion, only there's a 12-month waiting list. Do you know that Chinese women never have a headache? That's why there's 1,000 million of the bastards. This American walked into the farm in Ireland. He said, I'd like a suckling pig. I said, I'll get you one now in a minute. Mick, bring in a suckler. I said, how much will it be? Just to say, I'll weigh it for you. He whipped the pig on his back, put his mouth around his dick in it. 7 pound, 2 ounces, or 12 pounds. He said, I don't believe you can weigh them like that. But that's the way we do it here in Connemara. Young Mick is the county champion. Mick, come in and weigh that pig, would you please? He whipped it in his back. 7 pound, about an ounce and a half, Dad. About 12 pounds, sir. He said, you guys have a sort of an act between you? I said, no, in actual fact, that's how we weigh them, sir. Mummy is a champion of Ireland, sir. We get Mummy in. Go and get Mammy in to weigh the pig for the American gentleman. He said, Mammy can't come, Daddy. She's weighing the postman. Well, I said, what's the difference between a Rottweiler pissing up your leg and a Cocker Spaniel pissing up your leg? You let the Rottweiler finish. This Irishman walked into the chip shop. He said, would you have that video, please, sir, of the guns of Navarone? I says, this is a chip shop. And let us see now, what's the other one I like? You wouldn't have the sound of music, sir, would you? You'd have just told you, you shithead. This is the fucking chip shop. Well, you wouldn't have the Dirty Dozen. He should have just told you, prat. This is a chip shop. He said, well, give us a bag of chips. He said, that's better. He said, and a fish called Wanda. And I just come back from Belfast yesterday. My mother still lives there. She's a rear gun on a milk float. The violence is fucking awful, isn't it? There was an IRA man robbed a bank and he was mugged on the way to the getaway car. There was a fella driving through Newry with a 400-pound bomb in his lap. His pal said, fucking take it easy, Mick. This thing's liable to go off. He said, not to worry, there's another one in the boot. What about the fella walked into the pet shop, put £40 of Semtex on the counter and said, you have 3 minutes to get out. The pet shop owner said, who has 3 minutes? She says, everyone in the shop. Fucking everyone. Said, yes. Yeah, fuck, you're not giving the tortoise much of a chance. What about the Irishman walked into the pet shop and said, give me a wasp? We don't fucking sell wasps. Says there's one in the window. It's the way I tell him, isn't it? I'm too fucking good for this dumpy now. This fellow went to the doctor. He said, I've got this pain in the top of my head, goes around the back of my ear and finishes under my teeth. The doctor says, that's called considericitis. There's no medical cure for that. Because I suffered with that myself for years, but an old gypsy gave me a cure. Go home, rip off the wife's clothes, suckle her left nipple, make love for an hour and a quarter, it'll disappear. Went to the doctor a week later and said, you are an angel. For years I could go nowhere. I was a virtual recluse until I came to you. Now, thank God, I can lead a normal life. And by the way, you have a nice house as well. Could you laugh a bit quicker? I'll be here all fucking night if you don't, you know. This Jewish fella was in bed with a bird, and he was lending her one. Have you ever heard of a Jew giving anything away? There was a knock at the door. She says, that's my husband. He jumps out of bed like the clobbers into the bathroom. My husband said, what are you doing in bed? She said, I'm having to lie in today. He walks into the bathroom. Here's this fella standing, not a stitch on. He said, who the hell are you? He says, I'm from the council. She said, what are you fucking doing here? She says, there's been a plague of moths, and I've been sent to get rid of them. She said, but you've no clothes on. He said, oh, fucking bastard. Remember that boat, the Marie Celeste, when everyone disappeared? They found out why. Cannon and balls on the cabaret. I've just come back from Australia early this year. I sat in one of these jumbo jets at Heathrow, and this big Irish navvy walked in behind me. She had a fucking big shotgun and the pilot's here, and said, take me to Sydney. I said, I'm friggin' going to Sydney. He said, I know, but I've been hijacked twice and I'm taking no bloody chances. And there was an old priest beside me. He said to me, are you nervous in an aircraft? I said, very nervous, Reverend Father. She said, have a nice glass of wine. I said, that's very strong wine. He said, the Pope drinks that. I said, Christ, no wonder he falls on his knees when he gets off the plane. They've cottoned on to the Pope. He's an addict. He's a concrete sniffer. Now, they're very friendly, these Australians. This is because he says to me, how would you like to go to a midnight barbecue, into the bushes, plenty of that there, ooh. Well, I said, I'm all for that. I said, who's going? Just you and me. You fucking puffed her. Because every time I kissed him, he closed his eyes. I didn't stay long. Only a week. Well, I went to one of these strip clubs. There was a stripper on called Alexandra the Great. She was fantastic. She finished up with her clothes on. The audience was naked. She had a 48-inch bust. Both of them. It was a hunch front. She said, I would like someone from the audience to help me with marked. When it's not, she said, well, there's always a bloody idiot in an audience. Another fellow wants to grab the mic and say, he's always pissed out of you. This idiot said, "Can you hear my chest, said y'all?" Well, he put his head in her chest. She went, boom, 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 boom. His head went, boom, boom, boom. Fucking disgusting, honestly. I couldn't hear for a week. This fellow went to the job centre. And the fellow said, "There's a job in today." He said, "I need a job badly." He says, "All right, I'll put your name in the hat. You could be drawn out." He said, "What's the job?" He said, "Assistant to the gynecologist." Oh, he said, "I couldn't do that." He said, "I'm only a builder's labourer." He said, "That's a fancy title, actually." What happens is, when the ladies come in to be examined by the gynecologist, they strip off all their clothes. Well, you would fold their clothes up neatly and hang their coats up. She says, "Well, then, sometimes they have to have a bath or a shower." Well, you would hand them the towels and maybe dry their back and blow their... She says, "Well, then, sometimes the inside of their legs have to be oiled." She says, "Well, can you be in Luton at 7:30 on Tuesday?" She said, "Well, I thought the job was in Hayes." She said, "Yeah, but that's where the end of the queue is." Fella knocked at the door and a little boy came out. He says, "I'm the double glazing salesman. Can I speak to your mommy, please?" "No, she's very busy." "So, speak to your daddy then." "No, he's busy too." "Well, I'm your big brother." He's busy as well." "Well, who's in the house?" "A policeman." "Well, can I speak to him?" He's busy too." What are they all fucking doing? "Looking for me." That's a cracker, isn't it? Even I laugh, and I hear them every night. I got brilliant stuff. The Queen Mother was going through the hospital, and she walked up, and here's this fella in the corner. And she said, "And what's wrong with you?" He said, "I have a big boil on my bollocks." And the matron grabbed the Queen Mother. "This way, Your Majesty." She came back this way and said, "You're fucking ignoramus. The most beautiful grandmother in the world. You have a boil in your bollocks. You fucking have a good mind to throw you to the fucking hospital." 2 weeks later, Princess Margaret was coming round. Sober. Smoking a wood back. And they were trying to get her away from this word. And anyway, she got in, and here's this fella in the corner. And she went up and says, "And what's wrong with you?" He says, I have a big boil on my back." She says, "Oh, have they cured the one on your bollocks?" The big fella from Nigeria went into the forum and he said, "Boss, my grandpappy died and I'd like to go to the funeral next Tuesday." He said, "Okay, you can have the Tuesday off." So the Irishman walks in. "Could I have Tuesday off, sir? I want to go potato picking." She said, "You can't fucking have Tuesday off for potato picking. You fucking gave him Tuesday off for blackberrying." I said to a fellow in London, "Who's the best comedian you have in England?" He said, "Ken Dodd at the Palladium." Well, I went round to the Palladium. There was a large crowd coming out. And I said to this fellow, "What's the comedian Ken Dodd like?" He said, "He's the funniest comedian in Britain." I said, "Well, have you ever heard of an Irish comedian called Frank Carson?" He said, "Yeah, he's crap." I said, "Well, I'm Frank Carson." He says, "No, I'm Ken Dodd." And the 3 words you don't like to hear when you're making love. "Darling, I'm home." I love all those. And Little Red Riding Hood said, "Oh, Granny, what bulging eyes you have. And oh, Granny, what a big red face you have. And oh, Granny, what strange noises you're making." And Granny says, "Will you keep quiet while I'm having a crap?" So what you tell him? I walks into Barnard Fellow's church. Hey, Frank, lend us a pound. I said, I can't hear you. Lend me a pound. I said, I can't hear you. This fellow beside me said, excuse me, I can hear him. I said, will you fucking lend him a pound? I said to the barman, that's a lovely bull's head above the bar. He said, that killed my father. I said, was he a bullfighter? He said, no, he was playing drafts in the corn and it fell on him. Two Irishmen walked into the bar eating sandwiches. The barman said, hey, you're not allowed to eat your own food in here. So they swapped sandwiches. Two girls walked into the bar and I said to this big Irish fella, the girl with the short red hair is a lesbian. And he walked up and said to her, what part of lesbian do you come from? She said, no, I'm a lesbian. She said, Jesus, what's that? She said, you see the girl with the blonde hair at the bar? She said, yes, I'd love to get her into bed and kiss her and cuddle her and grope her. The big Irish fella started to cry. She said, what's wrong? He said, fucking think I'm a lesbian too. This fella said to the barman, give me a pint glass, put that much beer in it, and top it up with water. He said, pardon? He said, a pint glass. He said, I heard that. He said, put that much beer in it, and top it up with water. He said, that's an unusual drink. He said, you would drink that if you had what I had. He said, what have you got? He said, 20 pence. Well, this wee Irishman walked into the bar, and this big fella, 7'8½", big wimpy foreman, fucking hit him bang, knocked him to the ground. The wee Irishman jumped him and said, did you do that on purpose, or were you joking? He said, I done it on purpose. He said, I'm fucking glad to hear that. I don't like jokes like that. Well, this fellow walked into the bar, and he had a cocker spaniel in the bar. He said, hey, no dogs allowed in here. He said, you allow guide dogs. He said, guide dogs are either Alsatians or Labradors. He said, oh, shit, what are they giving me? I said, can I buy you a drink? He said, I don't drink when I'm parachuting. I said, a fucking blind man parachute? He said, yeah. I get in the strap on the chute, I hook up and jump out. I said, well, how do you know when to keep your feet and knees together? He said, when the dog's lead goes slack. There was a big Irishman standing at the bar, and he had a front door under his arm. I said, I see you're a do-it-yourself fanatic. He said, yes, no. I've walked out and I've lost the key. So I brought the door with me so I'll be able to get in. What happens if you lose the door? He said, it's all right, I've left the window open. Well, there was this very beautiful girl standing, and she had a massive brooch on, SRN. Oh, I said, I wouldn't mind being in hospital with you, having a bed bath before I fell asleep. A kiss and a cuddle in the morning when I wakened up. Then after lunch, you and I just hug and eat. She said, what the hell are you talking about? I said, SRN, State Registered Nurse. No, no, she said, that's a private members club. Self-reformed nymphomaniacs. I said, what does that mean? She said, I only have sex now with cowboys and Jews. She says, what's your name? I said, hop along, Goldberg. I walked into the gents' toilet, and there was a notice on the door, beware of homosexuals. I walked into the gents, and there's a notice on the mirror, beware of homosexuals. As I'm coming out, there's something written on the skirting board. So I bent down to have a look at it. I said, you've been warned twice. There was a lovely American girl sitting at the bar. And I decided to chat her up. I said, hello there, my little chickadee, my southern belle. She said, you're a very handsome Irishman. I like handsome Irishmen. I said, that's very nice. She said, can I buy you a drink? She said, I'll have a large Napoleon brandy and baby sham, I guess. I said, guess again. She said, why didn't you come up to my bedroom? There's a mirror on the ceiling. I said, well, that's no good to me. I don't shave in bed. Well, the barman handed me a large gin and tonic. I said, who sent that? He said, a fellow up the bar. He said he was in your class at school. Oh, I said, what fella's that? He says, him with the bald head and the beard. I said, fuck, there was nobody in my class with a bald head and a beard. Do you know there's a very exclusive club in Las Vegas where they play dominoes, and the spots on the dominoes are real diamonds. And there was an Irishman playing there one night, and he stole a double blank. Do you know it was the Irish who invented the lavatory seat? It's the English that put the hole in. Spoiled all the fun. I came outside, there was a blind man at the bus stop, and he had a lovely big guide dog with him, and it lifted its leg and stuck his trousers, and he gave it a chocolate biscuit. I said, now that's a lovely relationship you have with that dog. It's just pissed up your trousers and you give it a biscuit. He said, well, I want to find out where its mouth is so I can kick it up the ass. And I cleaned that one up as well, I tell you. I used to say bollocks. Well, this fella came up to me and said, where's the nearest police station? I said, what's wrong? He said, 3 fellas have just mugged me with a bag of spuds. I said, would you know them again? He said, yeah, they were King Edwards. I love the other one. The tortoise was mugged by 3 snails. And the policeman said to the tortoise, would you recognize them again? The tortoise said, no. It all happened so quickly. Well, I walked into Burton's. I said, I'd like to see the cheapest suit in the shop. He says, you're wearing it. And I walked into the shoemakers and said, could I have my shoes? He said, when did you leave them in? I said, 1953. He said, fuck, this is 1993. I said, I didn't need them tonight. He says, have you got the receipt? I said, there you are. He said, I'll have a look in the store. He went down to the store and came back and said, I found your shoes after 40 years. Fucking hell. I said, brilliant. He said, they were ready on Thursday. Well, I went to the cinema. That film was on. I'm sure you've all seen it. Jaws. There was an Irishman in front of me at the pay box, and he asked for a seat in the shallow end. Well, there was a film on beside it, and it was the worst porn I've ever seen in my life. It's all about children and animals. There was an old man and an old woman sitting beside me. And then this music came on. And the old man and the old woman, they were very interested. And this old lady of 90 came out on a Zimmer frame. I'd done a strip. Disgusting. And this big Irish wolfhound got on the bed with her. And what they had done to each other was fucking vile. Sickening. And at the end I said, did you enjoy that film? She said, no, it was dreadful. I said to the old lady, did you enjoy the music? She said, no. I said, well, what did you come for? She said, it's our dog. Well, there was a fella lying across 4 seats, pissed out of his brains, yelling this here, oi! I said, get in that fucking seat, you dirty bastard. Aye! I said, where have you come from? He said, the balcony. Well, I had a lovely seat up the front. This fella comes up, he says, move over. I said, fucking move over what? I said, I paid fucking £5.75 for the seat. It's up the front where I can see everything, and I'm not getting out of the seat for you or fucking anybody else. He said, well, that's all right. When the organ comes up, you play. Well, I went up to the hospital to see a friend of mine, and the surgeon walked in. He said, I've good news and bad news. I said, give him the good news first. He said, he has 24 hours to live. I said, shit, what's the bad news? He said, but I should have told him yesterday. I love the other one. What's the bad news? We've taken off the wrong leg. What's the good news? Your bad leg's getting better. Fucking dreadful. Well, there was a wee Chinaman up the top of the ward, but the good Samaritan, I walked up, I said, it's a Chinese New Year, get well soon. I said, I don't understand the language. I have a New Year in China, and he died. Well, I walked into the Chinese, I called this wee chink up, I said, tiddlywink. I said, could you translate this into English, please? She said, yeah, mate, you're standing on my oxygen valve. What about the Irish who was on that program, Mastermind? And Mackety Mackison says, who was born in a stable and had thousands of followers? He said, Red Rum. He said, finish the following song title. Old MacDonald had it, he said, farm. He said, spell it. He said, E-I-E-I-O. He said, name 2 days of the week beginning with T. He said, today and tomorrow. What about the Irish who was struck with lightning and thought he was having his photograph taken? The Irishman had the leg transplant and he's rejected it. What about the fellow from Aberdeen had the plastic hip put in and asked the surgeon could he have the bone for the dog? Fellow went to the doctor said, bad news for you. You have a venereal disease. You've got gash. Pardon? He said, you've got gash. She said, never heard of it. She said, well, it's a new disease. What we do is, gash, she said, it's a derivation of quite a lot of venereal diseases. It's gonorrhea, AIDS, syphilis and herpes. G-A-S-H, gash. Fucking hell. What we do is, we isolate you, we put you in a cell of your own, and we give you Rivita and cheese slices. He said, well, that cured. He said, no, it's the only fucking thing goes under the door. So that's how you like them. Coachy said to Geronimo, there's good news and bad news. She said, what's the bad news? He said, they're putting 600 Pakistanis on the reservation. Yeah, fuck, he said, there's no room for 600 Pakis. He says, but there's good news. He says, what's that? He said, they taste like buffalo. Maggie Murphy was singing in the front row of the choir when she overbalanced and fell. She was hurtling down into the middle of the church and the leg of her knickers caught in one of the rafters. And she went swinging up and down. And the parish priest said, if any man turns round to look at that unfortunate woman, may the Lord strike him blind. And Riley turns to Flanagan and says, I think I'd risk one eye. This fella said to his pal, I can't believe it. He said, you're covered in crabs. He says, when you go to the doctor, he said, I can't, the doctor's my brother-in-law, and he'll tell the wife. She says, well, have you ever tried the Irish connection? She said, no, what's that? He says, get a block of ice and put it over your private parts. And when the ice melts, the crab disappears. Oh, fucking for her. Yes. He buys a block of ice, puts it on his box, and he falls asleep. And when he wakes up, the ice is gone, and the crabs have gone. But his foreskin was all swelled up. And he pulls it back. And the crabs are underneath going. Somebody said, what's the last thing a woman does with her asshole before she has sex? She drops him off at the golf club. What did you want, hymns? Two Irish went up in Scotland to see two Scots fishing. One has the other by the legs, over the bridge, into the stream. He has his hands in the water. 2 minutes later, a salmon. Another 2 minutes, a salmon. He said, right, Mick. Next bridge will come to you now over, load of fucking salmon, clean up. Gets to the bridge. Lower me over, Gilly Gilligan. Lowers him over the bridge. 5 minutes later, pull me up, Mick. Have you caught a salmon, Brendan? He said, no, there's a fucking train coming. This girl went to the tattooist. She said, I want tattooed. He said, strip off. He said, there's no room for a tattoo. You're tattooed all over. She said, tattoo my clitoris. He said, all right, open your legs up. He said, I'll have to numb that. She said, go ahead. He went, num, 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 num. You'll not hear that on highway. That's a crack of that one. Fucking brilliant, that. I love that one. Here's my favorite story. After 40 years as a comedian, I still love this one. The officer said, Murphy, yes, sir. Go down to the pigeon loft. There's a very important message in from brigade headquarters concerning our strategic withdrawal. Bring back the message from the pigeon. Right, sir. 20 minutes later, Murphy came in. Sir. I brought back the message, sir. I'm the pigeon, sir. She said, all right, Murphy. What was the message? He said, crack at that, isn't it? The toad came out of the forest and he was yellow. And the fairy said, what's wrong with you? He said, there's a fairy in there pissing about. Now, I should be green and slimy. None of my pals will play with me. Look at the colour of me. I'm yellow. He said, well, I'm a good fairy. I'll help you out. You're green and slimy again. He said, well, what about my sex organs? He said, well, there's nothing I can do about that. The wizard in the furrow looks after that. Go into the forest where the wizard is. He will change you back into it. Right. An elephant came out of the forest, purple. And the fairy says, what happened? Oh, there's a fucking fairy in there pissing about. Look at me, I should be a dull grey. He said, okay, I'm a good fairy. You're a dull grey. He said, what about my sex organs? He says, they're purple. He said, well, there's nothing I can do about that. Go into the forest and see the wizard. He looks after that. He said, where does the wizard live? He said, I'm not too sure, but follow the yellow brick toad. Murphy walks into the scrapyard. He said, pardon me, sir, would you have a door for a 30 weight van? I said, I have. How much are they, sir? He said, they're £5. He said, they're only £3 in that scrapyard down the road. He said, well, why didn't you buy one there? He said, they had none. He said, well, when we have none, ours is £3. I said, fair enough, I'll come back when you have none. The Duchess walked into the butcher shop. She said, I'd like an Aylesbury duck. The wee fella put a duck on the counter. She shoved her fingers up his ass and said, that's not an Aylesbury duck, that's a Sussex duck. Get me a bloody Aylesbury duck. So the wee fella went down to the manager. He said, this is very embarrassing. There's a woman up there, every time I put a duck on the counter, she's shoving her fingers up the duck selection box. And there's women walk. He said, that's the Duchess. She's an expert in ornithology, knows where every duck in Britain comes from, but she always prefers the Aylesbury duck. Ah! He said, nice, we'll give her that one. He put the duck on the counter. She shoved her fingers up its ass and said, yes, that's an Aylesbury duck. You're an apprentice butcher, and you don't know the difference between an Aylesbury duck and any other duck. Where the hell do you come from? He said, here, you're the expert. This fella walked into the hair shop with a suitcase. He said to the prostitute, very sexy, but I'm kinky as well. She said, 75 quid. He said, right. So he said, well, open up the suitcase and you'll see a sprinkler can. Fill it full of water. So he strips off and he's sitting in the chair. She's sprinkling the water on him. He says, oh, that turns me on. Oh, I love the rain. Jesus, I love the rain. She said, he said, there's a torch in there. Get a torch. She said, flash it. She'd flash it. Oh, I love the light and I love the rain. Oh, that's turning me on. He said, slam the fucking door. She said, slam it. He said, oh, I love the thunder. And he said, there's a pair of bells in there. Quick, get those fucking bells. She said, blow it. He said, oh, I love the wind, the rain, the thunder, and the fucking lightning. She said, what about a quick bunk up? He said, what in fucking weather like this? And it's also a very happy day for me today because I'm 43 years married today. And it's just like yesterday. You know what a fucking awful day yesterday was. And I rang up the wife last night and said, I wish to God I had you in bed with me here. The two of us lying together, kissing, cuddling, groping each other's bodies. She said, who's that speaking? My wife talks through her nose, her mouth's worn out. I bought a lovely chair for Christmas and I can't get her to plug it in. Well, said to me the other day, my wife's an angel. I said, fuck you, lucky, mine's still alive. I had her down in Madame Tussauds, the waxworks, and I brought her into the Chamber of Horrors. The attending up, he said, tell your missus to keep moving, we're stock taking. And there's some bastard gets on my phone and he's doing these, you know, these heavy breathing calls to the wife. Fucking mental, these fellas, aren't they? You know, he didn't know my wife had asthma. And after 2 minutes he said, did I ring you or did you ring me? The wife said to me, you never talk now when we're having sex. I just don't like to waken you up. The cops came after me here tonight. I was speeding. She says, what are you speeding for? I said, well, my wife ran off with a policeman 2 years ago and I thought that was you bringing her back. And my wife, she's put on so much weight. She's fucking so fat at the moment. I was getting out of bed a couple of days ago and I had to climb over the top of her. Burnt my ass on the light bulb. And I said to the wife, I'm going to buy you something nice for our wedding university. I said, what about a nice designer outfit? She said, fuck all off you. I said, what about nice pearls? She said, I want nothing of you. I said, what about a nice holiday, romantic holiday in Paris? She said, I want frig all off you. I want a divorce. I said, well, I wasn't thinking of spending that much. She said, you haven't spoken to me for 2 years. I said, well, I didn't like to interrupt you. Fellow went to the doctor with a lump in his forehead. Doctor says, I don't believe it. He says, what? He says, you've got a very rare disease. You've got penisitis. He says, pardon? Penisitis. He said, what's that? He said, it's a penis grown out of your forehead. Oh, you're fucking kidding me. He says, no. He said, there's only been 2 cases of that this century. It's a penis growing out of your head. He says, well, can't you operate and get... No. He says, that goes to the base of the brain. You go like that. Yeah, fucking hell, he says. You mean to say I've got to look at that all my life? He said, no, there were 2 big bollocks. Should have read you this earlier on. It's a letter from my mother. She says, Dear Frank, since you've left home, your father has become a sex maniac and tries to make love to me every opportunity he gets. Please excuse the wobbly writing. I have put 3 socks in this parcel. As you said in your last letter, you'd grown another foot. Your Uncle George had a narrow escape yesterday when he fell off a scaffold, and he would have broken both his legs, only for the rope round his neck. Your cousin Harry is at the university doing biology and engineering, so let me know if you want your cat welded. The council didn't give Harry O'Reilly the job as a lollipop man because he'd only one eye. The bastards could have put him on a one-way street. "11 residents in the old people's home have AIDS. The other 31 can hear all right." Somebody threw a petrol bomb at Alec Higgins and he drank it. Mr. McQuillan spent £600 on a bulletproof vest and got shot up the ass. 2 RUC men were injured when their Panda car struck a tree. The IRA said they planted the tree. Paddy O'Hara said if you file the edges of a 50p piece, you can use it as 10p. They've discovered a woman in India with 5 legs, and your granddad said her knickers must fit her like a glove. I am sending on your new overcoat as it's going to be cold in England this winter. In order to save money on the postage, I have cut off the brass buttons. You'll find them in the top left-hand pocket. Archie McFadden's pacemaker has gone faulty again, and every time he farts, the garage door opens. What about what happened if he'd had a crap? Your daddy and I went to the sauna bath last night, stripped off all our clothes, and when the steam cleared, we were in a fish and chip shop. There was a large explosion outside the back door, and it blew a hole 70 foot deep, and the police are looking into it. The explosion blew Lily and Harry O'Hara out the front room window. It's the first time they've been out together for 40 years. Your cousin George has got 6 months in jail for having sexual relationships with a goat. His pal Freddie's been fined £30 for acting a goat. So he says, what do you call a sheep tied to a lamppost in Wales? A leisure centre. It always reminds me of the story of the Welshman driving through Belfast. The big RUC constable saying, stop, and halt as well. You're exceeding the speed limit. I'll have to take your name. What's your name? He said, Gwyn Evans. He said, Gwyn Evans. Where do you come from? He said, Clonvair, Port Gwyngaeth, Cugeras, Penrose, Llandersilio, Cogogok. Okay, let you off this time, but don't let it happen again. Mr. McWilliams, who's been on the methylated spirits for 30 years, died last month. He was cremated last Tuesday. He burned for 4 days. The English duck hunting team beat the Irish duck hunting team 614 ducks to 0. Archie McKenna said he knows what's wrong with the Irish team. They're not throwing the dogs up high enough. The tears are running down my legs. The little Nigerian who lives at the corner of the street and has no arms and no legs won first prize at the fancy dress ball last night. He put a piece of string through his ass and went as a conker. Bit of ethnic humour there. Your Uncle Joe drank a bottle of varnish and had a horrible death, but a lovely finish. The chemist shop at the corner has been broken into, and the thieves have taken everything with the exception of contraceptives and Brill cream. The police are on the lookout for a bald-headed Catholic. I would have put £2 in this letter, only I have sealed the envelope. Your brother Sammy, fucking awful guy, this one. Because everybody knows it, you see, who has 2 wooden legs, was fire watching last night when the building went on fire. The brigade came out and saved the building, but Sammy was burnt to the ground. You didn't imagine him going there, did you? The insurance company wouldn't pay out, as I said, he hadn't a leg to stand up. He was fined £35 for murder, for arson about. I've just moved into a new house beside the gasworks, so there's a horrible smell from your loving mother. Well, you've been an absolutely lovely audience this evening. Just a few more jokes to tell you of this dog went into the butcher's shop and he had a note and a £5 note. It said, £3 a frying steak. So the butcher said, I'll cut off that scraggy end, he'll not know the difference. The dog went, fucking hell, he says, knows the proper steak. So he gave the dog 50 pence, and the dog went, he said it should be 2.50. So he gave the dog the right change, and he followed it. Went up to his gate, and opened the gate with his head, went up the door, bang, 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 bang. The fellow opened the door, took the steak, and headed to kick up the hands, get right in the back, you silly bastard. And the butcher says, just a second. That dog came into my shop with a note, got the right steak, got the right change, came home, opened the gate, and knocked the door. What would you kick him up the arse for? He said, ah, silly bastard. That's the 3rd time this week he's forgotten his key. This is a lovely one. I love this one. This fella gets a beautiful sign up. Fresh fish sold here. So this fella comes in one day and said, see that lovely new sign you up, fresh fish sold here? He said, yeah. He says, well, you don't sell stinking fish, do you? He says, no, why? He says, well, all you need is fish sold here. She says, yeah, you're right, yeah. So he fucking cuts the end off. The fella comes in 2 days later, just thinking about that sign here. I said, what about it? He says, fish sold here. Have you shops anywhere else? He says, no. Well, all you want is fish sold, isn't that right? But you're right. He cuts off that end. Same fella comes in 2 days later. See that sign you've up? Fish sold. He said, yeah. You don't give it away for nothing, do you? No. Yeah, all it is. Fish. Impact. Fish. He cuts the end off. I was in 2 days. He said, see that sign, fish? He said, yeah. You don't need that. I said, why? He said, you can smell the fucking place a mile away. Now, many of you know me as a brilliant comedian. Very few of you know me as a successful songwriter. And I've just written. But I've just written. But it doesn't make any difference, it's rotten. It's a song about a young Irishman who's shipwrecked on a desert isle, and the only thing he has to keep him company is an Irish jigsaw puzzle. There's only 2 pieces. But he can't work it out because he's lost the lid of the box. It's a song from my new 12-inch record, which unfortunately has never been issued. Some bloody idiot put a 13-inch hole in. But the song was written by 2 brilliant young musicians from Ireland, George Novak and Peter Good. And it's on the recording label of Novak and Good. Now, they're all good singers in our family. There had to be. There was no lock on the lavatory door. Everybody had a long left leg. You ever tried to hold the lavatory door closed? Okay, I done it in Blackpool yesterday and the door opened out. Now, if you're drinking and driving, for Christ's sake, be careful on your way through Hayes here in Middlesex, because I'll be walking. But remember to keep smiling. That's the whole thing. We're in a very depressing year, but keep smiling. Remember the words of that man who said, if you can laugh when your whole world is collapsing around you, or if you can laugh when things are going wrong, keep smiling. Adolf Hitler, 1944. Before I go, I'd like to tell you a joke of two fellas that were fixing the roof in the church in Ireland, St. Patrick's. And one of them was smoking, and a cigarette dropped into the middle of the church. And he went down, and he met the priest. The priest said, what are you here for? He said, I've dropped a cigarette down in the church. He said, it's all right. I've thrown it in the urinal. He went back up, and his pal said, what did the priest say? He said, well, he threw it in the urinal. He said, what's urinal? He said, fucking how do I know? I'm not a Catholic. This woman walks into the butcher's shop. She says, I bought a leg of lamb here 3 weeks ago, and it was that length. When I took it out of the oven, it's only that length. The butcher says, I bought a pullover, a woolen pullover, from your husband's draper's shop at the corner 6 weeks ago. It's fucking that length. And when the wife took it out of the washing machine, it's only that length. She says, do you think maybe it came from the same sheep? Fella gets 20 years in jail. He goes into the jail. Fella said, I'm in for 20 years. He says, you love it in here. Freaking jail's like Butlins. He says, yeah, well, Monday night, we get the films before they go to the cinema. She says, you're kidding me? Brilliant. Tuesday night, we get the football from Spain and South America. Ah, canal. He says, Wednesday's brilliant. Wednesday, we get the boxing from America, or any World Championship boxing, and then from 2 o'clock to 4 in the morning, we get the pornographic pictures. Oh, he says, Thursday is brilliant. Now, he says, by the way, are you gay? He says, no. He said, oh, fuck, you're not like Thursdays. Murphy said to Flanagan, why is it I have 17 children and you have none? He said, I use the safe period. He said, when's that? He said, when you're on the night shift. I wish you could bring you with me tomorrow night. I'm going to the lavatory. Did you ever hear that one? Two fellas out in the Arctic. One said, by God, it was cold last night. He says, cold? He said, I had a piss and it froze. He said, I'll break it off and throw it over the edge. The other fellow said, I'm waking up this morning, there's a block of ice on my ass. He said, I put it in the radiator, and half an hour later it went. Fella got a job in the morgue. I mean, up to the foreman. He said, there's a girl on a slab down there. There's a prawn hanging out of her fanny. He says, you're joking. He said, that's not a prawn. That's her clitoris. He said, it tastes like a prawn.